Welcome to the glistening, neon-soaked megatropolis that is Night City. Here factions are made and lost. Here empires rise and fall. Here corporations gain power, lose power, and dynasties rise and crumble with the tides of history. In the futuristic world of Cyberpunk 2077, corporations wield unprecedented amounts of power and influence. With such power and influence comes rampant corruption. To get a taste of the corruption and evil of corporations in Night City, we will take a look through the eyes of one man, one Arthur Jenkins. Arthur Jenkins, the man, the myth, and the legend, as the saying goes. He is a psychopath who fits well into the cutthroat corporate world of Cyberpunk 2077. The first time you meet Jenkins, it will be during the prologue for the Corpo V. In this start, V, the protagonist, works as a corporate counterintelligence agent for Arasaka, because of a counterintelligence op that went bad in Frankfurt, Germany. On your way to meet Jenkins, you will run into Frank, who is an old acquaintance of yours. Before that, however, I'd like you guys to take a look at this conversation with Jenkins, give you a bit of a taste of his character. So a couple things to note here. The first is that he seems a little mad, obviously, and the second is that he mentions a character named Abernathy, otherwise known as Director Abernathy. She will be far more crucial to this main storyline later. Let's continue, shall we? This is Frank. He's the gentleman I was talking about. If you do decide to chat with him for some reason, you'll learn that you met Frank for an op on the East Coast. The name of the op is called Icefall. While the name is nice, the game does not provide any information as to what the op was for. However, I do get the feeling that the op was important. Furthermore, Frank will also tell you about an Operation Cargo and how Arasaka was arming local conflicts in Africa. This, in my opinion, shows that Arasaka has a lot, and I mean a lot of power, of both hard power and soft power, and you will see this throughout the entirety of Cyberpunk 2077. But for right now, that is enough about Arasaka, as they do serve as the main antagonists of the game, and trust me, I will cover them a lot. So let's go ahead and meet Arthur Jenkins. I mentioned that one more thing, that what Frank says about Jenkins is fairly interesting. He says that Jenkins is a psychopath, that he has gone a little crazy lately. Now, being part of the corporate world of Cyberpunk 2077, I can kind of understand that, but to see how crazy he is, you just have to hang with me. After saying goodbye to Frank, you proceed to Jenkins' office. There are a couple things I want you to note here. The first is the dress attire of the people you're looking at. That's what they're looking like in the world of Cyberpunk 2077. And the second is going to be the security on the way to Jenkins' office. Once you arrive in his office, go ahead and take a seat. I'll let the next interaction play through accordingly. Now, you may be wondering why he just killed half of the council. He will explain it in time. The op in Frankfurt, Jenkins just killed half of the European Space Council in order to deal with everyone who was compromised as a result of the intelligence op in Frankfurt. Unfortunately, the game does not particularly tell you what went down in Frankfurt, but it must have been bad. The person he is talking to is Director Abernathy. Frank mentioned him. Essentially, the reason Jenkins does not like Abernathy is because Abernathy upstaged him and, in his opinion, stole a promotion for him by essentially smearing him in front of the Arasaka Japanese executives. She essentially made him look bad. She got the promotion instead of him, and thus he does not like her. To make a long story short, Jenkins is essentially going to give you some cash, going to give you a shard. He's going to go ahead and tell you to go ahead and kill Director Abernathy. Whether he wants you to blackmail her or kill her is up in the air. The game doesn't particularly clarify, but either way, he wants you to do something to her that allows him a unobstructed path to success. He will let you take his car to Lizzie's bar, where you go ahead and talk to Jack. While you're talking to Jackie at Lizzie's bar, a few Arasaka agents will show up. Step 1, take the implants. Step 2, take the cash. Step 3, take the shard. And step 4, if Jackie doesn't intervene, 4 will be able to take you away and most likely kill you and destroy you in some manner. I will cover Jackie more in the next video, but for right now, we're going to pause here. A key thing to note in the clip I just showed you is that the person you were talking to said that how they found out the no concern, which leads me to believe that you were set up by Jenkins or somewhat similar. Or frankly, Jenkins and Abernathy could have been friends all along, working together to get rid of you because they saw you as a threat to their power. So nevertheless, that is the corporate world of Cyberpunk 2077. They are cutthroat, they're dangerous, and you may not live long enough to advance to a position of power where you won't find a knife in your back. Either way, Jenkins used you as a pawn to further his end. Unfortunately, due to the way the game works and to the story, this being the prologue, you will never interact with Jenkins or Abernathy ever again. This is the only time that you meet and deal with any of the characters, and it's the only time you will have access to that Arasaka counterintelligence building. The corporate world of Cyberpunk 2077 is a high-tech version of stuck between a rock and a hard place. You do one thing, you're screwed. You do another thing, you're screwed. There's not particularly many options, and that is generally how the world of corporations is presented throughout Cyberpunk 2077. I hope you guys will stick around and to watch these videos while I explore the characters, world, and lore of Cyberpunk 2077. Because despite all of the game's flaws, it could be a pretty good game once it gets fixed up. But anyway, that is my time for today. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.